You can't afford Bitcoin, but you can afford sats for now. I know a lot of people's argument when it comes to buying Bitcoin is that it's too late, it's too expensive. One Bitcoin is $100,000 right now. But I think that's not an excuse because once you understand how Bitcoin is or what it's comprised of, that it's the most divisible assets, I would say in all of assets. I mean, you can one Bitcoin is made up of 100 million sats. So you can still buy sats and they are still cheap. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. So what are sats? As you can see here, one Bitcoin equals 100 million sats. Just like cents to the dollars, but unlike dollars, sats can appreciate in value dramatically. Of course, if you hold cents or if you hold dollars, the dollar is going down, so it's gonna the value of the dollar and the cents is going down. But if you buy sats, which are still relatively cheap, not relatively cheap, they are still cheap, incredibly cheap, then those sats are going to increase in value. So as you can see, how many satoshis are in a Bitcoin? So one satoshi equals 0.00000001 Bitcoin. 10 satoshis, you eliminate one zero, all the way up to 100 million satoshi, and you get one Bitcoin. So as you can see, Bitcoin is highly divisible. It can be divided into 100 million satoshi. Sats are still cheap. Right now, one sat costs about $0.001. That means you can still buy one sat for $0.001, 1,000 sats for $1, 10,000 sats for $10, and 100,000 sats for $100. Now, the psychological barrier of one Bitcoin, like I've said, is that it's too expensive right now. It's too late. And I would agree, actually. Many people cannot afford a Bitcoin right now. I mean, many people can't afford $100,000. I would say 99.9% of the world population cannot afford a Bitcoin, one Bitcoin. But that's not an excuse not to buy any Bitcoin. By Bitcoin, I mean sats, and not to buy fractions of a Bitcoin. So many people feel like it's too late to buy Bitcoin because they can't afford the whole coin. You do not have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction of it, which is exactly what I just said. You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin in the same way that you cannot buy a fraction of real estate. You can buy a fraction of a company through stocks, you can buy fractions of gold. So, not being able to buy the whole unit shouldn't stop you from buying some of the units, a fraction of that unit. This is called the unit bias. I actually talks about it in my XRP video where I say that a lot of people have this unit bias and they think that if they can buy a whole unit of a cheap altcoin, they have more chances of making more gains and more money through the shitcoin or through the altcoin. And that's why they avoid buying Bitcoin because the opportunity for them to buy the one whole unit of a Bitcoin is gone and they can't really do it anymore. But that's a fallacy. That's a fallacy. Just because you can buy a whole unit of a shitcoin doesn't mean that it's the right financial decision or it's the right investment decision. Why sats are the opportunity? Sats are the smallest unit of the scarce digital asset. Not just digital asset, they are the smallest unit of the most scarce assets in the history of mankind. At $100,000 per Bitcoin, one sat is just $0.001. Still incredibly affordable. When Bitcoin hits $1 million, and it will hit $1 million, in fact, it will hit a million, 5, 10, it will keep going up forever. That same set, but when it hits $1 million, that same set will be $0.01. So let's do a little thought experiment. If you buy $1,000 worth of sats at $0.001, when Bitcoin hits 1 million, one sat would be worth $0.01, which means your 1K investment would turn into 10K. That's a 10x return on your investment. Do not make the same mistake. You ignored Bitcoin when it was worth a few cents. Do not make the same mistake with sats because they will also keep growing in value. A lot of people ignored Bitcoin when it was cheap, when it was below $1, when it was $1, when it was $10, when it was $100, when it was a few $100s. And now they are making, now this Bitcoin is over $100,000. They are making the same mistake with sats, which is the fraction of a Bitcoin. So if you miss Bitcoin when it was cheap, do not miss sats when they are still cheap, and not just cheap, very cheap and very affordable. Digital scarcity. Bitcoin is capped at 21 million coins. That's 2.1 quadrillion sats in total. Most of them are already in circulation. They will only get harder. They will only get harder to get. In other words, most Bitcoin is in circulation. Most sats are already in circulation. The demand for Bitcoin keeps going up. The supply of Bitcoin is not increasing anytime soon. It's not inflating in any way whatsoever. So you better go grab some sats and you better start buying as soon as possible. This is your chance. People ignored Bitcoin when it was cheap. Now they are ignoring sats when they are cheap. And I would have to say that most people who do not know anything about Bitcoin, they don't know sats. So when you say just be humble and stack sats, most people don't even understand what you are saying. But what we are saying basically is that be humble and stack fractions of a Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin, of course, you can't buy a whole unit of a Bitcoin. Most people can't. So you better buy sats. So that's why we say stack sats. You don't need to be rich to buy Bitcoin. You just need to be smart to stack sats. Start small, start smart, start stacking today. So this is your chance. This is your opportunity to, I mean, you missed the whole units of Bitcoin opportunity. Now you still have the opportunity to buy sats, which are fractions of a Bitcoin at a cheap price. And you can keep stacking sats for the next 10 years or 15 years. You will definitely become wealthy and you will definitely make money that you have never seen in your life. So that's all I have to say in this presentation. That's all I have to say in this video. Let me guys know what you think in the comments below. If you have a question or if you have an idea that you want me to make a video about, post it in the comment section. I will look at the comments. Subscribe to my channel. Send this video to a friend or two. And see you in the next one. Take care.